Wayne Harrison from Boomtown, a very warm welcome to the Redzone. Let me start with this. You're the new managing director of a small Port Elizabeth-based agency. I know that you've got very big ambitions. Does that small agency status, though, help or hinder you?
Thank you, Jeremy. It definitely helps us because we find that we're a lot more flexible. We're a lot less stayed within traditional thinking. And it allows us to explore new routes and take on risks that the bigger agencies are less capable of achieving.
And hopefully a little more cost effective, although some of the big networks might disagree with you.
Yeah, we're used to, as a small agency, in getting blood out of a stone. So, having had experience up in Namibia and with the guys down in all of their experience in Port Elizabeth and our new office, which has just opened up in Cape Town, we're finding ways to really show good return on investment and good value.
I want to talk about blood out of a stone and the Namibian experience in just a moment. But smaller independents such as yourself, and there are others who are starting to make big inroads in the South African advertising industry. Surely, though, it becomes increasingly difficult to compete with the big global networks who can offer experience, proprietary tools, they can offer reputation, they can just offer sheer weight of experience.
It definitely makes it more difficult. One has to overcome those, and there are routes that the small independents are finding. We've just recently signed up with the Comfort International Agency Network, and they're current in 140 countries, 140 cities throughout the world. And they then bring about the access to case studies and global trends.
So it gives you that tap-in potential.
Absolutely,
that you need.
which is the real value that one gets out of a global network.
Okay, I'm a marketer and I'm sitting watching this discussion. Make the case for the small agency. Why should a marketer look at you and not at an Ogilvy or a TBWA or a J. Walter Thompson or Young and Rubicam? What's the key difference that you can offer?
I think, Jeremy, we spend our time as a small agency group focusing on the two critical questions that any brand owner should be looking at. And the first of that is being, what is one doing to grow the brand, the sales, which is critical, as well as strengthen the customer relationships? And the second one is, how can it be measured? How can you define the full return on that investment? And that's what a small agency like ourselves is geared around. So, we're not reliant on big traditional media thinking. We're reliant on a lot more of a nimble approach to every job that comes through.
And you can get blood out of a stone.
Yes.
I want to move away, if we can, just from what you guys are doing right now, and perhaps get a view on the current state of marketing in South Africa. I don't know if it's fair or unfair to say this to you, but you really do work at the coal face of the South African economy. You're based in the Eastern Cape. It's a tough sell in every respect there. Let's be quite honest about that. What lessons are you learning from marketers in the Eastern Cape that perhaps we in Johannesburg, where we're filming this interview, are thinking differently? Often this is a bit of an ivory tower.
Yes. I think we've found that one can't rely on one or two or three sets of mediums. One has to be a lot more flexible. One has to look at opportunities to dig deeper into the business. We're finding that a lot of our brand work starts internally with the businesses and then rolls out from there. So it's a combination of rolling out a brand message internally, building up the brand avid spokespeople and influencers within the business, and then it's spreading outwards through experiential, through digital, through PR, all interwoven into a message which is based on a strategic insight.
Are you in a position to talk to us about some of the proprietary tools that you're developing yourself? You've got some interesting new tools on your side, haven't you?
Yes.
What are they?
Well, we've got one of our latest tools is the tribal marketing. And what tribal marketing does is it allows you to burrow deeper into the demographics of your market. It goes beyond the surface level or the topsoil of your black female, 25 to 30, has a postgraduate degree and working within a certain sector.
And that's real tick-the-box stuff. You're going
Absolutely.
deeper than that.
And there we start to bring in the psychographics and that what are their influences are, what are their hobbies, what really turns them on, and where we find groups and sects collecting together of like-minded people. And then who are the influences within those sects, and how do we take brand stories to the influencers?
So how do you do that?
Well, we look at ways that we can engage with them, we can bring them in. So when it comes to a product development, say for example a new electronic camera that's being launched, we bring in these influencers within these sects, these tribal markets, to bring them into the development. So they're used as test models to test the products and then have conversations about what can be done about improving the product itself.
All right, well, I see the strategy, but surely the ultimate default, though, is once you've seeded the idea, you've started the conversation, surely you've then got to revert back to good old above-the-line stuff, or not?
Currently there's always going to be a place. There always is within the current South African market. But I think we're seeing throughout all the media that there is going to become a time where it has less of an impact, less of a reach than what is enjoyed in the past. If you look at the media viewership, the amount of time people invest into online, onto the mobile media engagement is dramatically increasing within South Africa.
Do you ever see a time when above the line will no longer be considered by a brand?
I think there may well become a time, yes.
In your lifetime?
I'm sure. I'm sure. With the speed that is happening,
sure.
I'm sure.
Final question to you. You've worked, as you mentioned to me, in the Namibian market. Are there lessons there for marketers from smaller companies, and I say this with respect, that often have zero marketing budget, and you've got to make magic out of nothing?
Yes. I think one critical thing that we learned within the Namibian market was that where you've got a situation where you have so many different tribal nuances or cultural nuances spread over such a vast landscape in small numbers, one has to find ways of taking your communication and adapting it, customizing it slightly in a cost-effective way so that you can roll out a campaign to all corners of the country, still within a tight budget, but still make an impact with each of those consumers.
Wayne Harrison, I thank you for joining us from Boomtown, and I send you back to Hobie Beach with best wishes. Thanks very much for joining us.
Thank you.